around the neck thing. Possibly tweeting, not sure. So we've seen Sullivan's deck, for those of you who followed us yesterday. He's playing a fairly aggressive Boros list. He has a Firemane Avenger as bombs deck. Yeah, he has Firemane Avenger in addition to really just Boros Reckoner and Rebel Belt Raiders. So he has a lot of really good aggressive 4-drop creatures.
Searles has gone first, and he's opened up with a dual land and a forest. Patrick Sullivan, second turn, 2-1, as he would in any format.
Yeah. So looking at Searles' deck, he's definitely playing more of like the aggro Gruul sort of strategy as opposed to Gruul mashing big monsters. He has a pair of Burning Tree Emissaries, some Disciple of the Old Ways, Warmind Infantries, Muggings, Hellraiser Goblin.
So Sullivan has got among the strongest possible plays in his deck, especially against a Gruul deck, with Boros Reckoner on the third turn. That guy's not easy to deal with.
That's going to be able to blank James's deck really well, especially because James's deck is really centered around also a lot of 2/2s, this sort of aggro mirror going on.
So what has James got in terms of tricks or ways to possibly beat that Boros Reckoner?
Well, he's probably going to have to 2-for-1 himself to get rid of it. The best card in his deck is a Clan Defiance.
That's a very good card, though.
Yeah, it is great. He has, so his late game, I suppose, is Clan Defiance, Rubble Hulk, Skarg, Guildmage. But otherwise, all his removal is damage based. He has an Arrows of Justice. So this Reckoner is going to at least score a 2-for-1 on him.
So
yep, we see Homing Lightning on the Reckoner.
And
that's going to take out his Croconera
take
as well.
out that. I mean, it's not like the big frog is really the worst thing he could lose, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually pretty good in the matchup. The frog's very strong against Boros.
Well, he's got a big butt.
Yeah. Foundering to play tapped for Sullivan. That means he does not have 2 of his power 4-drops there. We have the Avenger and Rebel Belt Raiders also in Sullivan's deck.
Sullivan's hand is nothing but lands, it looks like. I think he probably kept a hand on the strength of Boros Reckoner, and it has not developed yet.
Yeah, so we'll see if Searles can reload. He expended a lot of resources to get rid of the Reckoner.
Ooh.
He gets
Cinder Elemental.
It looks like Cinder Elemental and also a Debtor's Pulpit. That's a card which I don't particularly like in draft too much, but I'm really excited to play in Sealed. As a 1 of at very least. So, yeah, both are just kind of a stall here. We see in Searles' hand an Arrows of Justice, a Burning Tree Emissary, in addition to Miming Slime. Slime and Pit Fight, it looks like. Slime's a card which I actually just really like in general. Right now, it's not strongest because he doesn't have a great way to make a large creature. He's just going to burn it for a 2/2 right now.
What do you think the game plans are going to be on either side? Do you think Patrick's just kind of sit back and then hope to milk the elemental?
Well, he has this Pulpit going on. He'll get Debtor's Pulpit this next turn. I almost feel like that 2/2 Slime Ooze play. I'm not sure what Searles' plan is. Apparently, he's decided to become the aggressive deck. I'm not positive how much I like that right now because I just feel like it's so easy to blank a board of 2/2s. One Warmind Infantry really stops him right here.
Oh, not a Hurloon Minotaur.
Yeah. So, all right, Debtor's Pulpit for Patrick Sullivan, and that'll just keep a 2/2 tapped right now. And he can also double tap by overloading the end step.
So he stops the potential for Striker.
Mm-hmm. And swing for 4 from Searles. Interestingly enough, Patrick does not want to trade the Cinder Elemental here.
No, I think that's probably. I think that's the play that I would make. I mean, doesn't he want to just kind of get Searles into a range and then?
Yeah, at least for 1 turn, he has to make sure that Searles doesn't actually do a big enough number on his life total.
What's his other white card? Is that a Night Watch?
It appears.
Armored Transport? I can't tell what it is.
Armored Transport.
Arrows of Justice?
Almost certainly.
Almost certainly.
Yeah, so Arrows will take down the Cinder Elemental.
That's not going to make Patrick happy. Every time I have Cinder Elemental and I attack with it, that's exactly what happens. It never works. Executioner Swing, Smite, guy never lives.
Yeah. I thought it interesting. Cinder Elemental is the style of card that I think Patrick, what I see here is like a really seasoned sealed player. When I see, he's playing stuff like Cinder Elemental and Debtor's Pulpit, cards typically when you think of, what do I like to draft when I draft a Boros deck? Those cards are not high on my list. But I think they're just so powerful and sealed.
And it's interesting, Patrick is one of the many players who's got Active Treason in his sideboard, and he has 2 of them in his sideboard.
Yeah.
Would you... Oh, the Cinder Elemental on James Searles'
So
side.
Searles has emptied his hand. He pit fought the 2 creatures in response to a mugging. By putting Patrick at 11, he's doing a pretty good job of keeping pressure on both players really out of resources. Searles with the upper hand.
Searles has got 3 guys to 1, and all 3 of his guys are better than Patrick's guy on table.
Right. He drew a Slaughterhorn that probably won't get blood rushed. It will probably just be played as another creature.
I mean, I think Patrick probably just moved to block here.
Yeah, he's got to watch out because the Cinder Elemental right now is 5 damage. And, you know, as the game progresses, will continue to be more damage. And Searles is trying to blood rush the
other guy?
No, he's going to blood rush the ooze. That puts Patrick Sullivan down to 6.
Oh, which is dead to the
dead to a
element.
land.
Please come up and see me at the Grand Prix stage once again. The Grand Prix players.
A heads-up play there by Searles.
Round 10.
And see Night Watch watches Sullivan, but he's certainly in trouble. He needs, you know, he is dead to a land at the moment. And upkeep.
Oh.
Yep, upkeep says out. So
very cagey.
Yeah, cagey. It means that Searles can't win with the top deck land.
So, did Pat use his mugging already? He did, right?
He did.
He has a homing lightning though.
Searles has drawn the land, so Patrick's going to need to draw a removal spell here.
It's be an exciting finish. Can he gain a life? What is this?
We'll see. Did he get it?
I don't know. It seems exciting though because he's looking at something and not picking up his cards yet. No. Now he's picking up his cards.
Okay, it was not a kill spell. So game 1 goes to James Searles.
Let's see, what have we got? Active Treason might be sweet, right? He can take a Cinder... No?
I think it's because James's deck is all 2-drops. If I saw, you know, against Gruul, I like that card. If I saw a lot of pigs, if I saw a lot of maybe the Rubble Hulk in his deck, I'd be more inclined to side it. But no, you know, I don't really want to steal a Disciple of the Old Ways with Active Treason.
You could give it first strike.
You give it first strike.
Actually, you don't want to give it first strike.
Right, you want them to trade.
Let's see. Patrick's got... Do you think he's going to... What does he got to cut?
So, yeah, what cards are bad in his deck right now? I remember that he said he has hated the Righteous Charge in his deck. He thought it was an instant when he first registered his deck, and he's been siding it out every round. He's been very disappointed in it.
It's gone.
So that's probably going to continue to get sided out.
He's not playing his Massive Raid. I feel lots of good players have been casting Massive Raids on camera.
Yeah, when you need removal, you need removal. A Massive Raid certainly does the trick there. That's probably the card he's most like. That's the card to me seems he's most likely to board in.
You ever play like a Beckon apparition? It's just like a one.
I mean, I try not to, especially in Seals. He has an aerial maneuver which he could be running. He has a Basilica Guards, which while could I think be running his deck here.
I mean, whoever wins. I mean, so I assume Patrick's going to choose to play.
I would too. Yeah.
So, but I think James probably also wants to play, given the outlook of his deck.
Yeah, James. So over on James's side, when you look at possible things, what I find interesting is that James is not playing a Molten Primordial in his deck. He
just too expensive.
Yeah, that certainly is a bold statement. That's a card that I really like in Sealed. Or certainly is powerful, but I think he's decided that between the other high drops he has is just not really, that's not part of his game plan.
So what do you like so much about Molten Primordial when you're okay with not playing Active Treason, right? It's kind of like an Active Treason stuck to a
6/4 haste.
Yeah. I mean, obviously,
I think that's
a huge
why.
creature, right?
Yeah, that'd be why. It's a huge creature that wins the game. That often wins the game when you cast.
What if it didn't have the Active Treason? What if it was just a 6/4 haste? You'd still medium like it?
I mean, not really. I'd like it less.
I mean, of course you'd like it less.
I mean, at that point, it's like a Tenement Crasher sort of card. You know, it's fine. I certainly cut those.
So James has cut the one that even has the...
Right, that has Active Treason built in on it.
So Patrick Sullivan with a Plains to start. And a 2-drop. Ooh, a good one. Right. Quite an upgrade over last game's 2/1 creature. Searles answers with...
Scar Gilmage. Searles does not have a third land yet.
Searles is not going to trade here, not in a million years.
No.
So, 3 in for Pat. And...
That's what he does have the third
Reckoner.
land. Reckoner. A great start by Sullivan.
Yeah, this is potentially devastating because anything that Searles going to have to deal with that Boros Reckoner can at least take out the Guild Mage, which is probably one of Searles' main ways to win the game.
Right. Well, I mean, at this point, I think winning the game isn't his, his focus.
Staying alive.
Yeah, staying alive has become his focus. Trading scarred guildmates for halberdiers. If Sullivan offers it again, I imagine James will take the offer.
Yeah, sure. Well, he's got a third land. He'd probably play a 2/3 here.
Yep, he has the 2/3. Yeah, he has a pair of Warmind infantries, it looks like, in his hand, but also on board a Rubble Hulk and a Pit Fight.
So if you're Patrick,
and Hellraiser Goblin, which is a card I don't even want to cast right now.
Would you attack with both creatures here? So your worst case scenario is the Wojek trades with one of the two guys, and well, actually, if James double blocks the Boros Reckoner, Patrick could first strike, kill one, and then actually damage the other one with the Redirector, right?
He would kill them both. He would first strike, kill the Warmind, and then
kill
double block. Yeah. So there's just no good block on the Reckoner.
And that's presuming that Patrick would remember the first strike, which I assume that he would.
Yeah, I think so. And so he's gonna make a 5/1 Scorchwalker. That's probably one of my favorite 5/1s for 4. Shit.
How many 5/1s for 4?
I like Rotting Fence Snake a lot too. He was a zombie, but no, the body's not even. It's not the best power toughness cost card that you want, but the ability on it, I just think makes it so much better than you normally expect.
Yeah, I earlier this week I was doing a practice draft and I just randomly ran my Boros Reckoner into combat. And I lost it to a Death Touch Rat.
So James is swinging back here, which seems like a perplexing play. But I mean, when you look at the board, the problem is James's hand just isn't built for blocking. He has an Act of Treason. He has a Rubble Hulk. None of these are, and he also doesn't have a 4th land. So he's like, he could sit back and block, but. I mean, it was his hand. Sorry, it was Act of Treason, Rubble Hulk, and Hellraiser Goblins. Like, his hand just isn't built to block.
So, you could even just at least play like a post-combat Hellraiser, right?
Yeah. So the worry there is, if you played a post-combat Hellraiser Goblin, is that Patrick would. He has a Boros Reckoner play, so Patrick just untaps his guys, says go.
Oh.
And now
Now you're annihilated.
now you're in trouble.
I guess everybody's attacking.
Yeah, just like,
into the first strike team.
Right. So it's like there's danger there.
A good point, Matthias. A very good point.
All right.
So Patrick deep in the tank for a second before swinging.
There's an arrow. So I think James attacked. The problem is, by leaving all his blockers, by attacking with all his team, he's taking 8 damage here. He's going to drop to 6. I'm not sure if he still shouldn't have left one of his creatures back. It might not matter here. 2 more creatures are made. Sullivan empties his hand onto the board. It's a Core Shooten and a Bomber Core.
And one of them's, a Sweep Battalion creature, and the other one's a Ghetto Blockers out of the way creature. So right. I think it's not too early to call Patrick Sullivan as the winner of Game 2.
Yeah, I mean, Searles actually, he drew Burning Tree Emissary, so he can play Emissary into another Warmind infantry. He has plays, but still the question is, how is he going to get rid of Boros Reckoner? When you're at 6, getting rid of Boros Reckoner without taking 6 is very difficult.
So I think he's contemplating exactly the play that you've just said. Or perhaps he's already given up and he's just like, maybe it's better to go to Game 3 than show these tools. Yep, Burning Tree Emissary, and exactly the play that you said.
Yeah, into second Warmind.
What's Patrick's red card?
He just drew Rubble Belt Raiders. I don't know what the other card in his hand is. So, which he can't cast right now, to be fair.
James is on Virtual 5 because if Patrick ever wants to attack with Bomber Core, he can just get
you could say he's on Virtual 3 because there's no way Boros Reckoner doesn't deal 3 damage. 2 isn't able to deal at least 2.
You can only do 2, right?
Yeah. So if Patrick wants, he already has a Lava Spike. I mean, James is dead to a white creature here.
So let's see. Yeah, I think Patrick's doing the math on this. So, I mean, let's contemplate this board. James would absolutely have to block the 5/1.
Yep, has to block the 5/1. I think he has to block Boros Reckoner, because if he doesn't block Boros Reckoner, then the Reckoner will be a lethal swing next turn. He has to make sure Reckoner dies. The problem is that...
is that Act?
It's Act of Treason.
Okay,
that's
game
certainly going to be the game. There's no way he can... Yeah, same as you're asking. There's no profitable block here. Even if Patrick's hand was all lands, I'm not sure James can survive through an all-out swing. He's going to have to block everything, and he's not going to get to kill the Reckoner still. Because the only way he can kill Reckoner is by triple blocking it, And you triple block the
Then
Reckoner.
he just doesn't first strike, and then sends all the damage at James, which is exactly 6.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, and otherwise Patrick is to keep it. Yeah, the Reckoner is very hard to kill. It's so good against Gruul. I think Black has much. And we kind of saw this at the Pro Tour. Black has a lot of ways to deal with it, but Red really doesn't. You saw a lot of the control decks, for example, at the Pro Tour, switching to cards like Abrupt Decay, because cards like Searing Spear were just so miserable at killing Boros Reckoner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about Boros Reckoner's position? Let's say in a format like Standard. I think it's basically
It's great
like
right now.
like Jace the Mind Sculptor. Like it's going to be to the point where like maybe it's not just like the most powerful, greatest card of all time, but it's like the whole format in some way or another revolves around it.
Okay, so when you say things like Jace, here's my Jace test. I remember when Jace was around, so people would say, hey Matthias, come look at my deck, and if I saw an island in your deck, my first question is, why are you not playing for Jace the Mind Sculptor?
There's some decks that played islands that...
I'm not saying the answer was you're dumb for not playing it. What I'm saying is you had better have a reason to not be running for Jace.
Yeah, like the Dredgevine decks, it was inappropriate in that deck. Pyromancer's Ascension decks, it wasn't even good in Pyromancer's Ascension. When Pyromancer's Ascension was really good, I don't think Jace was that good, but we made some 7 Jace Pyromancer's Ascension decks the next year that were actually just reasonable. Yeah, like, oh, apparently playing 7 Jaces is good.
I played Blue-Green Scape Shift in Modern, and we even found room for 2 Jace in the deck, even though he wasn't, all he did was brainstorm every turn.
Yep.
I was like, yeah, this is actually probably powerful enough just to run. So it's like, when I think of what a Jace test is, so if you see a deck with plains or mountains in it, are you going to turn to a guy and be like, so really, where are the Boros right now? Are you at that point with the
I will
card?
give you like a perpendicular answer. When I look at a deck like Jund, which is a medium good performer in the format still.
You say where the Boros Reckoner is?
I mean, like, is this deck even viable? Is the question I have. Like
Jund aggro or mid-range?
Like Jund mid-range. It's completely in this like corner position where if it doesn't have an Abrupt Decay, it's going to lose to one of the infinite Boros Reckoner combos. Like the opponent's going to be able to sculpt the spot.
It plays Abrupt Decay. Some of them are also trying to play Victim of Night right now as another way to deal with Boros Reckoner, which is, I mean, I guess a testament to how good the Reckoner is.
Yeah, you're
starting to do
you're really
that.
stretching. It's and then there's decks that I used to like green-white ramp or something where.
No, green-white. I used to get green-white humans aggro, and that's just you can't do
joke.
that. Yeah. It's like, dude, Boros Reckoner exists. Have you not heard?
Like half the decks use Boros Reckoner to do what you're doing better, and then the other half draw a bunch of cards and position the Reckoners in such a way that you can't play your game. It's so powerful.
Searles looks like he's drawn a one-liner. He's opted to play here. He's deciding on a mulligan right now. I think he's going to decide to put it back.
It's interesting. Do you think has PCLA not looked at his hand yet?
He hasn't, and I actually don't do that. I do this the same when I play. Mm-hmm. The difference is that if I'm in Sullivan's position, I watch my opponent. If I'm in the draw, I look at my opponent while they decide their mulligan. I'm trying to get a little bit of a read off it, and also I tend to be a little readable myself, and I don't want them reading me when they decide their mulligan.
I think Patrick has a superb hand. I've watched him play a lot, and this is the face that he uses when
he just has the nuts.
Yeah, he works on his body language a lot actually. If you watch the match where I don't know Evan Irwin and a lot of other guys were saying when he made top 8 with the red deck the first time, maybe it was actually the second time he made it, but he won from a really improbable situation where his opponent had to make an on-table mistake for him to win. He lulled him into this spot by kind of like this like long-faced body language where he started to slump in his chair. I think that he's got a strong hand based on that. Which maybe it'll develop. Maybe it's like a strong 2-lander that doesn't go anywhere. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a third turn Boros Reckoner again.
So Searles going to 6 cards.
Patrick Sullivan yesterday had, I believe, bought a Boros Guild shirt in order.
Yes, because he played. Yes, he originally wasn't planning to play Boros. He said, "Well, these are the cards I was dealt. Better go buy a shirt."
But today he's got his current team. Patrick Sullivan's a huge
Clippers fan.
Yeah. Well, he used to be a huge Atlanta fan. I never really understood why he's from New Jersey, but he's
Well, he lives in LA now.
San Diego. I think.
San Diego.
Yeah.
Okay, he's in SoCal.
Yeah.
But he's a big Clippers fan.
He's a season ticket holder of the Clippers. We did a show together in Las Vegas a few months ago where I think he had to come late, and the reason was he had like Lakers Clippers tickets for that night.
Oh, okay.
He just came after the. But it's a short trip from Vegas to Los Angeles. So.
I know he said he went to the Bobcats game also while he was here in town. One of his goals is he goes to the whatever the local team is when he goes to a Grand Prix. He tries to hit up a basketball game while there.
A rare example of a violation of that rule. 2 years ago, there was an Open in Edison, New Jersey, and he came to town, and we were supposed to go to Cavs against Knicks. So a lot of people probably know I'm a huge Cavs fan for self-punishment reasons.
Oh yeah, it's like,
but
it's okay. Sometimes I watch the Timberwolves. It's equally terrible.
But Baron Davis, who was the point guard of the Clippers, had just been traded to the Cavs, and but Pat was like, you know what, I need to rest. So he didn't go to the game with us, and said AJ Soccer went, and he missed the Baron Davis show. Baron Davis completely went off on the Knicks.
So Searles is on 5 cards here, and you're right about Patrick's hand being completely gassed. It looks like he's going to curve a Syndic of Tides, and he looks like he has Fireman Avenger and Rubble Belt Raiders in his opener.
Yeah,
either of which can come down turn 4. Searles is going to miss his 3rd land. Maybe an unfortunate conclusion here. Yeah, Sky Knight Legionnaire.
And this is Zabu.
16. Searles, okay, there we go. Hits the 3rd land. May feel like he has a chance. He does have an arrows for the potential.
But it doesn't even block this turn.
No, I mean
and he's gonna have Angel online in all likelihood. Or do you think he goes Raiders first?
I would go. Angel would be my test spell.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, the Raiders just wins.
No, I understand. Yeah. They're both good.
Because I think the Raiders wins on its own.
Does not agree
I mean, it
with
doesn't
you.
really matter. It's like, which of these is the test spell? You get to ask that question.
Anyway, punchline to the previous story. Patrick didn't go to the game with us. AJ went and said AJ made top 8 of the Open, and Patrick won the Open, beating AJ at the top. He's like, I'm an old man. It's a good thing I rested. But he missed the Baron Davis show.
So Robopal Raiders Searles does have an active treason. He's holding back arrows of justice for the Raiders.
Yeah, so
which is fine. Unfortunately, Patrick will have an exciting punchline to that story. I was like, so that means this angel is good, right? Okay, sure. Thanks. Take 4.
Wait, he's even got an extra land, right? So he's gonna extort on the angel.
I would, yeah.
Wow.
Just for value. There's a...
Pre-combat something or other.
Pre-combat fire. Okay, yeah, and that's good in case the arrows came down.
Yeah.
In case the Dreams decide to arrow something that wasn't Rubble Belt Raiders. Yeah, Fireman Avenger. Okay, go to attacks. Counters on. Okay.
Let me. No, you won't.
Yeah. James still drops to 7. Patrick now at 21.
And that's lethal, right?
Oh yeah.
So,
it's 10.
I mean, just the angel is most of that. Oh, I mean, Patrick's got double flyer, too. And his other guy's a reach creature. I mean, not reach the way that R&D calls reach, but reach the way Magic players think of it.
He has Armored Transport, Assault Griffin, and is it Core Street Denizen? I think so. It doesn't really matter. His hand could be Swamp, 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 and it would be fine.
So, James has got your ooze that you like.
He's Bomber Core, Warmind Infantry, Active Treason, Minding Slime, none of which do anything. He doesn't have a way to answer this flyer.
The flyers
gonna kill him.
I mean, Patrick wants to be really conservative. He could just attack with flyers and then probably drain James out with Syndic of Tides.
And there we have the concession. So Patrick Sullivan aces the sealed portion, 11-0. Will be in our draft pod number 1. There will be 2 or 3 undefeated players. He's one of them. James Searles at 10-1 though, still very
pretty
live.
Good. Pretty good.
A great place. It's interesting. I mean, it's got to be that feeling from James. 10-1 usually still a great accomplishment. Usually a lot on the road to a top 8. At this point, it's really more similar to if you'd gone 8-1 on day 1. Where you're like,